Clitheroe as the Clitheroe Kid with Peter Sinclair, Patricia Burke, Danny Ross and Diana Day in
All at Sea with a Sailor.
Pat, are you sure this is the way we put this camp bed up?
I'm positive, Father. Look, that thing goes over there, and then you slot this piece of wood in here.
But I thought you slotted that piece of wood in there, not here.
No, that's for this other piece of wood. That goes in there.
Here?
No, there.
There, Ma'am. Don't go getting upset.
That'll do. What do you want?
The boss of Smart Circus has just been on the phone. He says, when you finish putting up my camp bed, would you go and put his big top up?
Just you be quiet, my lad. Now, if we don't get this bed fixed, you'll have nowhere to sleep tonight.
Well, I'm fed up, Grandad, having to share your room again. Why can't I sleep in my own bed?
Because we've got an old shipmate of your granddad's coming to stay, and he's having your room. You know all about it.
Well, if he's a sailor, he'll have his own hammock. He doesn't need my bedroom. We can sling him up in the backyard on the clothesline.
Oh, stop being funny. Hold it still, Father, while I tap that piece of wood in. There you are, son. That should be all right.
Well, I hope it doesn't collapse like it did before. I jumped into bed, landed underneath it, and broke the handle off my granddad's suitcase.
So that's enough, Jimmy.
Well, I'm fed up.
Now, look, my lad. When my old pal Barney Battersby gets here, you'll soon change your tune.
Yes, to a blinking sailor's hornpipe.
I'm telling you, Jimmy, you'll like him. He's great fun. A real live wire and very fond of sport. He was the captain of our ship's football team.
Get away, you can't play football on a ship. What happens when a bloke takes a corner? He puts the ball down, steps back to take the kick, splash. Not on the ball!
Oh, you must tell Barney that, Jim. He loves the joke.
Now listen here, sailor. This is a taxi, not a liberty boat.
Yes.
I brought you from the station, and what can't speak can't lie. Look, there's 5 bob on my clock.
Well, your clock must be fast, then. I'll give you 3 in a tenner. Now, go on, cast off, full speed ahead.
Now listen, Captain Cook. Any more trouble and I'll charge you extra for waiting time.
What waiting time?
Waiting to get paid. I might have known there'd be trouble fetching you here. Every time I come to this house, there's a right load of trouble.
Hello, Mr. Higginbottom.
And it's just arrived. What do you want, Clitheroe?
Well, hello there, Barney. So you finally made it after all these years.
Hey, young lad, who's the old fella?
He's your old shipmate, Bell-Bottom Sinclair.
What? Is that you, Peter? By gum, you've aged a bit.
What? He says you're looking younger than ever. What about my money?
All right. Peter, me old shipmate, I've no change on me. Pay the taxi, will you?
Me? Pay the taxi?
What's up, Grandad? You've gone white.
That'll do, Jimmy. Look, Barney, I've no money on me. We'll settle with Higgy when I take you down to the Rose and Crown tonight for a wee drink.
Drink? I don't drink. I haven't touched a drop in 10 years. I'm surprised at you, Peter, wasting your money on selfish pleasure.
Oh, my Grandad doesn't drink for pleasure. He does it to make him sleep.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and sometimes it works before he gets home.
Look, sailor, why don't you take the lad back to your ship with you and send him for a walk on a plank?
Oh, never mind the funny stuff. I can't stand out here in the cold. It'll play my chest up.
This way, Mr. Battersby. Come in, will you?
I'm going in the house, Peter. Pay that big, long pirate his money, will you?
Well, Grandad, so that's your old pal, who we're all going to like. Jolly Jack himself.
Never seen such a change in a man.
Never mind the change in him. What about the change for my taxi fare?
All right, Higgy. If you're in such a hurry, I'll go in the house and get the money.
Excuse me while I go and hide my piggy bank.
Oh, behave yourself, Jimmy. Look, Higgy, you'll get paid. Don't worry.
Oh, there's me mum carrying old Popeye's kit bag for him.
It's very nice to have you with us, Mr. Battersby. Did you have a good journey?
Shocking. I was sat in that train for over 6 hours.
Well, we'll be having the meal soon, Mr. Battersby. I'm sure you'll be ready for that.
Well, that depends on what it is. I can't eat anything rich or starchy. I must have steamed fish or a lightly boiled egg. It's, my stomach, you know.
Yes, we can see it. What you mean, I mean?
Behave yourself, Jimmy.
That lad's too cocky, far too cocky. And now, if you'll excuse me, I want to lie down and get some rest.
Well, we've got the clothesline ready for you.
Clothesline?
Your bed, I mean. I'll follow you upstairs with your kit bag.
Well, hurry up then. Drinking indeed. No wonder Peter's looking so old and haggard.
We've got a right sailor boy there.
Hey, look lively with that kit bag, me lad, out the double.
Aye, Skipper. Young Jim Hawkins be on his way up aloft. Excuse me, Miss Purity. Ma'am, I mean.
Just you behave yourself.
Here you are. In here.
Thank you. Oh. So this is my cabin, eh?
No, it's mine, but I've been slung out and I... Why, don't you like it?
Not very big, is it?
Well, it does get a bit stuffy, but you can always open the window. There's only the lorries from the factory on nights.
Oh, how often do they go past?
Oh, you'll hardly notice them. Only once every 10 minutes.
Lorries? In the middle of the night? I'll just have to sleep with the window shut.
Yes, and then all you'll hear is the pipes.
What pipes?
From the cistern. Glug, 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 glug.
Oh, I couldn't stand that. It'd drive me mad. Isn't there a room I could have at the back of the house?
Well, there is another room. It's a bit small, though. And you'd be very cold, because there's a shocking draught comes up the plug hole.
That'll do. Is your granddad's room at the back?
Oh, you couldn't have that one. You'd hear me. I talk in my sleep. I'm sharing my granddad's room, so you'd be with me.
Oh, you talk in your sleep, you say?
Oh, yes, and whistle and sing. Sometimes I tell jokes and laugh at them. Oh, you'd never get to sleep with me in the room. I stayed at Mr. Brocklebank's once, and I dreamt it was Christmas and I was plucking a turkey.
Now, what about it?
When Mr. Brocklebank woke up, he had no eyebrows.
Don't tell your lies, and don't worry. I'm not sharing a room with you.
Well, you'll just have to swap rooms with me granddad, and I'll sleep at Mr. Brocklebank's again. He said I could go any time.
He sounds a right mug.
He is, but he's kind-hearted with it.
Suppose he won't have you.
Oh, I'll play on his sympathy. I'll wrap myself in a blanket and lie down on his doorstep with a note pinned to me. My name is Jimmy. Please give me a good home. Mr. Brocklebank, we'll have one more game and you're the baddie again.
Oh, dear. Do I have to be Billy the Kid again?
Oh, all right. We'll pick some fresh names. I'm the Marshal and you're one of the James gang.
Oh, which one?
Jessie.
Really? James?
No, Jessie James. Anyway, you go and hide in Denman's Gulch.
Hide where?
In your sister's bedroom. And this time, when I catch you, I promise not to hog-tie you.
Well, thank heavens for that.
Now, off you go. Go on.
Just a moment, James. Even a bandit must get some rest now and again.
Oh, all right, Mr. Brocklebank. You've been very good. You have tried to keep me amused during the 3 days I've been staying with you.
Is it only 3 days? Seems more like 3 years. Have a sweetie.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Brocklebank. Oh, I'm glad I'm here with you, and not at home with old Barnacle Barney, the sailor. Fancy all that fuss, just because I unbuttoned his shirt while he was asleep to see if he was tattooed.
Well, no one is perfect, James. The man is there as a guest. You can't just bundle him out of the house neck and crop.
No, but I think my granddad's given him a gentle hint he's not wanted.
How do you mean?
Well, the other night, Barney wanted something to read in bed, and my granddad gave him the railway timetable.
Pat, keep your voice down. Barney might hear you.
I hope he does. Since he arrived here, he's been nothing but trouble.
Well, he's our guest, Pat. So we just got to put out with him.
Well, I'm not spending another 10 days running up and downstairs for him. I'm worn out.
Hello, ma'am. Is it safe to come in the ship's galley?
Yes, as long as you don't mention our guests dozing up there on the bridge. Your tea's not ready yet.
Hello, Grandad. How's your old shipmate, then? Have you found out where he's hidden the corkscrew yet?
Well, there's no need to be funny. Just because you've got yourself organised at Brocklebank's.
Oh, yes, that reminds me. Mr. Brocklebank says cowboys and Indians is too noisy. So tonight we're having a musical evening instead.
What do you mean?
I'm going to teach him how to play my drum set. I'll just go and get it out of the front room.
Well, don't start any trouble. Susan and Alfie are in there.
Right, Mum. I wonder how the turtle doves are getting on with Barney here. Oh, they've left the door open. I'll listen what they're cooing.
Oh, go on, Susan, give us a kiss.
Ooh, he's a fast worker. He's still got his crash helmet on.
Don't make so much noise. We'll have that horrible Mr. Battersby coming in complaining. But Susan, I wasn't making a noise. I was singing to you. Now, why won't you kiss me?
Perhaps she can't. If he's singing to her, she'll have a head under the cushions.
Alfie, stop it. Somebody might come in and see us. Ah, what's about it? You're my girlfriend. I don't care if anybody sees me on my knees like this. Susan, would you... What's the matter? Will I what? Will you rub my left leg for me? It's got cramp.
Better still rub both his legs together. With a bit of luck, he might burst into flames.
What are you doing at that door?
Help! Oh, it's you, Mr. Battersby. You frightened the life out of me.
Are you listening at that keyhole?
Yes, do you want to listen? You get a good laugh. It's our Susan and Daft Alfie.
Now, look here, my lad.
Listen to him.
Oh, it's not doing me much good. Do you think I should roll my trousers up?
Roll his trousers up? What's he doing in there?
Having a paddle in the goldfish bowl.
Just stand aside. I'll teach him to carry on like that. Right, just break it up, you two.
What do you want?
I heard you carrying on at the door, young lady. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, now, just a minute, Mr. Butterfly.
A fine way to carry on, I must say.
Oh, look, we were doing nothing wrong. And anyway, what's it got to do with you?
Don't answer me back.
Hey, what's going on in here?
Hey, Peter, will you tell your granddaughter to show a bit of respect to me?
Why, what's the matter?
People who listen at doors don't deserve respect.
I don't listen at doors.
No, he just happens to get a touch of lumbago every time he passes a keyhole.
Father, it's no use. We'll have to tell him to go. What with cooking special dishes for him, making his bed 3 times a day after his naps, and keeping his bedroom clean, and nothing but a bloomin' chef, waitress, and charwoman all rolled into one.
I know it's a nuisance, Pat, but after all the years we sailed together, I just can't tell him to get out. He's only here for another 9 days.
Granddad, your friend's been in that bathroom for nearly an hour. Would you please tell him to get out?
Oh, look, Susan, the man's entitled to have a bath.
Oh, not 3 times a day. Oh, even our Jimmy isn't that dirty.
Well, couldn't you manage in the kitchen for once, love?
Oh, yes. And what do you think the neighbours would say if I have a bath standing in the sink?
You could wait till it went dark. What am I saying?
Your favourite son's home, ma'am. You can kill the fatty calf. And our Susan as well.
That's all we need. Laughing boys.
Jimmy, we're in no mood for your jokes.
No, and we're not likely to be until the captain's pulled his anchor up.
Hey, you're not going to send him away, are you? I don't want to leave Mr. Brocklebank. Mr. Battersby's a very lonely man.
I'm not surprised. What beats me is how he managed to spend 30 years at sea without being thrown in it.
Oh, Master James wants him to stay so he can have the time of his life at Mr. Brocklebank's.
You don't like old Barney because he caught you and Alfie Hall snogging.
We were not kissing.
No? Well, how long has Alfie been wearing lipstick on the back of his neck? You look like a couple of Comanches doing a bit of Indian wrestling. Big Chief Hall in the head and his squaw running mascara. Chief hug, squaw hug, everybody hug, hug.
All right, Jimmy. Susan is quite right. You wouldn't be so cheerful if you were living at home.
I'll go, Mother. It's probably Alfie.
Grandad, you're not going to send your old shipmate away, are you?
I can't. But it's a pity we didn't tell him your room was the only one available. Then he'd never have stayed in the first place.
Hello, Mr. Brocklebank. Come in.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
Mother, it's Mr. Brocklebank.
Oh, good evening, everyone.
Hello, Humphrey. This is an unexpected pleasure.
Well, I feel rather bad about this, but I've brought his clothes back. James, that is.
What for? You don't want washing yet.
It's not that. My sister's returned home with an old school chum, and your room is needed. I do apologize.
Don't apologize, Humphrey. It's the best news I've heard for a week.
You what?
I don't understand.
If Jimmy comes back here, he and I will have to go in my bedroom, and Barney will have to go into Jimmy's.
But Barney said he couldn't sleep in Jimmy's room because of his health.
Exactly, so out he goes. Come on, Pat. We'll tell Barney to get his bag packed and clear off on the next time.
I can't wait. Humphrey, would you ring Mr. Higginbottom for us and ask him to come round with his taxi?
Right you are. Is it to catch a train?
Yes, the London train. It leaves in 2 hours. So ask him to be here in 15 minutes.
Well, Master Clever Clitheroe, that's taking care of your little holiday from home.
I think you're all cruel, putting an old man out in the snow.
Nonsense, James. I'll just make that phone call.
Oh, Barney said he'd got plenty of money and a nice home. You're just annoyed because you'll have to start doing your homework and going to bed early.
If I go to bed early, I can't sleep with you and Alfie below me in the front room.
We never make a noise. When you're in bed, we speak in a whisper.
I know. And it's blooming cold lying down with me here on the... Anyway, you haven't won yet.
What do you mean?
Never mind, big conk. I've just thought of something that might save me.
Well, I've put some sandwiches in for you, Mr. Battersby. Thin wholemeal bread and cheese, just the way you like them.
Yes, much obliged, I'm sure, but you needn't have bothered. Your cheese gives me indigestion.
Oh, does it indeed?
Perhaps you could give him something else, Pat.
I'd give him something else, all right, but I don't think the chemist would sell me any.
What?
She means grocers, they're closed.
Well, don't bother about me. I don't expect anybody to put themselves out on my behalf. Anyway, you'll soon be rid of me.
Now, don't talk like that, Barney.
That was Mr. Whittle on the phone with some good news.
Never mind that. Look, Mr. Battersby, we can't help it if there's no room for you here.
No, Barney. I mean, you know we don't want you to go.
That's right, Mr. Battersby. My Grandad would be very happy if you could stay, wouldn't you, Grandad?
Of course I would.
So would you, ma'am, wouldn't you?
Naturally, Father's friends are always welcome.
Good. Well, you'll be pleased at the news Mr. Whittle gave me.
What's that?
Well, I told him about Mr. Battersby having to go, so he's going to ask his landlady to let me have it.
Have what?
The spare bedroom at his digs.
Oh, no.
So Mr. Battersby can unpack his diddy box and stay here, and we can all be happy.
Aye, I'm very happy. Well, Pat, we'd better get Barney's things back upstairs.
Well, if you'll put some hot water bottles in the bed, I might as well have a nap before I eat.
Yes, I'll put the kettle on. And Jimmy, I'd like to have a chat with you before you go to Mr. Whittle's tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
That was very kind of this fellow, offering to help an old sailor in his hour of need. Was he in the Navy by any chance?
No, he was in the Army. The brutal light infantry, I think it was. Mind, his dad was nearly in the Navy. He was a lighthouse keeper.
Was he?
Yeah, Mr. Whittle said his dad was the fittest man in Bootle. You know why? After it had gone dark, the only way he could read a book was by belting round the top of the lighthouse to keep up with the light.
I'll get it, Mother. Oh, hello, Mr. Higginbottom.
Oh, hello, Susan. Is that fellow Battersby in? I've called to take him to the station.
Well, they're all in the living room. Go in.
Grandad, here's Mr. Higginbottom with his hearse.
That'll do. We've had enough from you.
Hello, the troublemaker's at it again, is he?
Don't you call my Grandad a troublemaker.
I'm talking about you. Anyway, come on, Mr. Battersby. Let's get away.
I'm not going. They've changed their minds again.
Oh, have they? Well, you ordered me, so that's 4 bob I want for being called out.
Ah, well, that's fair enough. Peter, pay the man.
Who, me?
Well, you don't expect me to pay for your mistakes, do you?
No, well, I'll pay him. Here you are, Higgy. 2 bob, a shilling, 6pence, threepenny bit, and 1, 2, 3 pennies.
What about his tip?
That'll be the day. And the next time you want a taxi for Battersby here, I'll be busy. So give me a ring, I'll tell you where to go. Down it,
Sorry, Mr. Higginbotham. Did I say down here?
Oh, go in there. There's always room for another monkey in Clitheroe's menagerie. Go on.
I suppose there is room now that big ape's gone. But why is he always so miserable?
It's his job. He might be happier if he was something else, like an undertaker.
It's rather complicated, Alfie. Mr. Higginbotham came to take my friend to the station.
Your friend? Oh, yes, Mr. Butterbean.
Battersby and nincompoop.
Ah, well, now he's not going.
Oh, I know. Mr. Whittle just told me in the street Jimmy was staying at Bucklebank. But he had to come back because Bucklebank's sister's brought a friend home, and she wants a room. No, not his sister, she has one. Jimmy's for her friend. And your friend was staying, but he had to go because Jimmy came back. But then he didn't have to go because he was going. Jimmy was. So he wasn't your friend, but he will have now to now because Jimmy can't. I think.
I wish you would think before you open your floodgates.
Jimmy can't what, Alfie?
But he can't stay with Mr. Whittle. He was coming round to tell you.
Well, why can't I stay with Mr. Whittle? You have a spare room? His landlady told him I could use it.
Yeah, but she didn't tell her husband. This afternoon he went to the sales and flogged the bed.
The daft old bed flogger.
Well, he's sorry, but they can't put you up.
Well, I'm not sorry. I mean, well, you'll have to go after all, Barney. I'll get your things downstairs.
Oh, down, up, down, up. I feel like a blooming yo-yo.
Well, there's no need to change anything.
What do you mean, Alfie?
Well, I've just had a thought. It'll help you to solve all your problems without having any more trouble, Mr. Sinclair.
What is it?
Jimmy can come and stay at our house.
Oh, no! Here you are, Harry. Help yourself to sugar.
Oh, thanks, Pat. There's nothing like the old tea. The cup that cheers, but doth not hibernate.
I am glad to sit down for 10 minutes while old Barney's upstairs having his second nap.
I must say, you're very patient with him, Pat. You always keep your dignity. You never lose your temper and demur yourself.
No, still. Only 6 days to go, and I'm counting every one of them.
Oh, I'm fed up.
Don't bother to say hello.
I'm sorry. Hello, Mum. Hello, Mr. Whittle.
Hello, lass. You look a bit downtrodden. Something up at school.
No, it's Alfie Halls. It's like being in the army. His dad stands over me like a sergeant major while I do my homework. Lights out at 8 and reveille at 6:30. He hasn't got a bugle, so he blows his nose.
Old Hall's a bit soft, is he? Believes in strict dissipation.
Grandad told him to keep an eye on you.
Mum, why doesn't me Grandad tell Barney the bosun to put to sea again, then I can come home?
Oh, you've suddenly gone off the navy, have you?
Hi, Jim, from what your granddad said about you, he'd probably keep Barney here an extra week now just to see you suffer.
Well, we'll have to think of a way of getting him out. How about it, Mr. Whittle?
Oh, don't drag me in. I'm just a neighbour. I can't protrude into family confinement.
You are? Look, I just mean, if you've ever had to get rid of anybody, how did you do it?
Now, that'll do, Jimmy. Barney's got to stay here another 6 days.
Cocoa! I want some cocoa!
Oh, talk of the devil. I'd better go upstairs and see to the old nuisance.
Mr. Whittle, if you do remember anything, tell me quick while my mum's out.
Well, it does put me in mind of when I was a young lad working on a road in Southern Ireland, as it was then called. Of course, that was before the mild and bitters come in.
Mild and bitters?
I mean black and tans. Well, I was lodging in a cottage, very cosy, you know, just me, another lodger, the bloke and his wife, 2 pigs and a donkey. And they wanted the other lodger to leave because it was too crowded, so they kept throwing peat on the fire.
Well, why should that make the other lodger leave?
Peat was the other lodger.
Oh, don't whack his mother's oven.
Now, what do you think? Barney says he's got a swollen ankle and he wants some surgical spirit to bathe it. I've told him it's early closing days, but he says he must have some spirit.
Well, I've got some old engine oil and a bulldozer I could drain off for him.
Wait a minute. I've got an idea that might get rid of his bad ankle and Barney as well. Ma'am, don't worry. Just leave it to me. Come on, Alfie. Get the window open so we can hear what they're saying.
All right. What's happening anyway?
You'll find out if you open the window. Me granddad's slinging Barney out, neck and crop.
Well, what, his best friend?
Yeah, he hates him.
And don't come back for another 20 years, you mean-nattering old ungrateful teetotaler.
You're the ungrateful one. I should never have pulled you out of the bare fist cave.
Has Barney done something to upset you, Grandad?
Close the window, it's freezing. We've heard enough.
What did Barney do?
He bathed his foot in a full bottle of me granddad's best whiskey.
He must have gone mad, pinching your Grandad's whiskey.
He didn't pinch it. I gave it to him. I just forgot to mention that I hadn't got me granddad's permission.
Oh, is that so?
Grandad, I didn't know you'd come in.
So now we know the truth.
Grandad, Mama, I only did it for the best, and it was only one bottle. I'll buy another one next Christmas.
Don't bother, son. I'll pay for it willingly.
You mean you're not...
The best trick you ever pulled. Put it there, son. Pat, will you join me and you, Alfie? For he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow.
Those involved with the Clitheroe Kid this week were Peter Sinclair as grandfather, Patricia Burke as mother, Danny Ross as Alfie Hall, Diana Day as Susan, Tony Melody as Mr. Higginbottom, Brian Truman as Mr. Whittle, and Barney Battersby and Colin Edwin as Mr. Brocklebank. The recording program was written by James Casey and Frank Roscoe, produced by James Casey, and starred Jimmy Clitheroe as the Kid himself.
Isn't it funny how mums forget? After all the trouble she had with Barney, this morning she said she felt sorry for him and told me Grandad we ought to send him a little gift. We all tried to think, but it was difficult to know what was best for him. I mean, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he's got no interest in sport. Mr. Whittle suggested a humane killer. Alfie said we should give Barney something to cheer him up, let him have a good laugh. So we sent him a book, Victims of the Vampire.